There's 8 screws to remove to take it apart, 8 screws to put in to put it together. Spring is in the air, and that means soon our little chickens will arrive. We're getting more layers this year, probably about 10 more, maybe more, we'll have to see. And then about 50 meat chickens, at least 50 meat chickens. So we need a brooder. Last year we just used Rubbermaids and it wasn't fun. Not fun at all. The chickens outgrew them too quick. So this year I wanted to be a little more prepared. This particular brooder was inspired by Lumna Acres. He built one. It's about twice the size of this. We don't need it to be quite that big. So I made a few modifications and this should work for us. We're going to find out this year if it's big enough. Let's get started. We don't need much to make this chicken brooder. 4x8 piece of plywood, a few 1x3 8-foot pieces of pine, a circular saw, a drill, stapler, T-square, measuring tape, a couple of clamps, and various pieces of hardware which we'll go into details later. First thing we'll do is measure out our initial cuts, lengthwise on the board, in 24-inch sections. Make our first cut. Now we have 4 equal pieces, 2 feet by 4 feet each, one of which we will cut down to be 24 inches by 24 inches. Now what we have are 3 pieces that are 2 feet by 4 feet, 2 pieces that are 2 feet by 2 feet. 2 of these will be the front and the back. These 2 will be the short sides. 1 of these will be the bottom. So we have to notch these in now so that they just kind of slide together nice and quick. Next, stack the 4 boards together like so. Get yourself squared up on the corners as best you can. Clamp to keep them nice and tight. Measure in from the outside to 2.5 inches, and then again at 3 inches. Measure up from the bottom to about 12 inches. You might have to go about 14 inches to get the blade to cut through all pieces of wood. Next, adjust your saw to cut to the depth of all 4 boards. In the case of my saw, it's as deep as I can go. I think I forgot to mention this earlier. You'll need a chisel and a hammer. Now we can pop our clamps off. We're going to move the two short pieces over to this side. Square everything up again as best you can. It's not critical to be perfect with this. Unless you're a perfectionist, then you can be as critical as you want. I don't think the chickens will care too much though, to be honest. 2.5 inches, 3 inches. 2.5 inches, 3 inches. Now we are at the stage where it should be starting to resemble a box. So these just slide into place. Just like so. Now we need to work on the bottom of the brooder, which will be made out of this. And we want this thing to be as easy to put together and take apart as it can be. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. We have our pieces of 1x3 pine, which we're going to cut to length. Just snug this up right here to 17 3/4 inches. And our long sides are going to be 42 inches. Okay, 1-inch wood screws. Start with our long pieces to build a little frame here that the box will sit on. We're going to measure 3 inches from the edge. That's going to give us enough room to have one of these here, as well as the 1/2 inch for the sides. Two long pieces for the inside, a little bit shorter, 36 3/4 inches. This base should make it even easier to put this together. The reason I want a bottom is because this is going to be sitting on a table in the house. You don't necessarily need a bottom if it's just going to be sitting on a concrete floor or something like that. Everything just fits into those notches. Need a little bit of support on the back here, and also a place to put the hinges. So this time I am going to drill pilot holes. Smart idea. And a couple of these, just for a little bit of extra added support. So this will give us a nice spot to screw our hinges in. A little bit of extra support for the whole brooder. For the lid, we're going to need 2 4-foot 1x3s cut at a 45 and 2 2-foot 1x3s cut at a 45. There are various ways one could go about assembling the lid. This is just one way. Glue. And L brackets. Half-inch screws. Now our center supports. I measured 20 1/4 inch inside here. Half-inch screws again. This is just going to help prevent any sag in the mesh. Hardware cloth, and also especially if the cat decides to jump up and inspect the chickens, less chance of it falling through there. Next will be the wire cloth. Hardware cloth, wire mesh, whatever you prefer to call it. I think it's all the same thing. This stuff is never fun to work with. Gloves. Weigh that side down. It's an old cabinet door from the pop can heater we made. It's a little long on this side. That'll be easy enough to fix though. Now for the hinges. These at 15.5 for the center of the hinge. Test out the hinges. Works for me. And so what we will do when we get the chickens, we'll line the inside of this just with some 6mm plastic. We got a bunch of that kicking around here, little pieces and stuff from building the greenhouse. And that'll just keep the bottom dry. So we'll have that stuff come up 6 inches or so from the bottom, and it'll help make things, cleaning things up a little bit easier as well. Chicks poop a lot, spill their water all over the place, poop in their water, poop in their food. The last thing that I've added on here is just this little latch to keep it shut. The collapsible aspect of this brooder is what I really like, because it will fit just about anywhere, and really there's 8 screws to remove to take it apart, 8 screws to put in to put it together. So let's start here. So the first 4 screws. Second 4 screws. Remove the top. Back. The front. The sides. And the floor. And that is all the space the chicken brooder takes up when it's not in use. Can't complain about that. Speaking of chickens, the ladies have been outside all day today enjoying the sun. And something tells me they're probably interested in some mealworms. They always want mealworms. That's it for today. Ciao.